A new Fox poll shows people are almost evenly split on how President Biden has responded to the war in Ukraine. On your screen right now, approve 48%, disapprove 49%. That is a split. General Jack Keane is with us this morning. General, let's get right at this. Do you believe that Ukraine could win this war and win it quickly?
Yeah, no doubt about that. And by the way, the poll that you showed would be completely different because President Biden has said, well, we're going to be there till the end. We're going to be there with you at the finish. But what the Ukrainians are saying, and I'm associated with the Institute, the Study of War, and we validate what the Ukrainians are saying. If you give them everything that they've requested in a timely manner, they can win this war decisively within a year. And that's just the facts in front of us. And if that was presented to the American people, the president wants to give the Ukrainians everything they need and try to win this year, and if not this year, certainly the beginning of next year, I think that poll changes dramatically.
What's a win, in your opinion?
Simple. Drive all the Russian troops out of Ukraine. Every piece of occupied territory they are sitting on, drive them out. That is described as a military victory, not a negotiated settlement. It is a World War II type ending.
China is calling for a ceasefire and peace talks. What do you make of that?
It has no credibility, Stuart. I mean, these are the same people. They're talking about sovereignty that took Hong Kong's sovereignty away from it 25 years earlier. They're trying to rob Taiwan of its sovereignty. They are talking about opposed to genocide. At the same time, they're committing genocide against the Uyghurs inside of China. They want a ceasefire, which absolutely favors Putin. That enables him to hold on to the territory he has, reset and rearm and reattack again at a time of his choosing when he has a military advantage once again. After all, that's what the negotiated settlement was all about in 2014, and he reset, rearmed, and when he had a military advantage and believed he had a political advantage over the United States and the West, in other words, he could get away with it, he attacked last year.
Okay.
That China is not credible.
Okay, before we leave Ukraine, your opinion is give them what they want, give them what they need, and Ukraine can win. That's your position as a retired four-star general. Okay, got it. Now, I want to move on to China. We're increasing the number of our troops, American troops in Taiwan. Is that enough?
Frankly, no, but it's a step in the right direction. This week, finally, the Indo-Pacific commander said publicly what he has said, certainly privately, and is well known in the region, that we are in a very dangerous situation militarily with China, and we have to move with a sense of urgency to fix it. One of the things we need to fix it is help to train Taiwan's military. I've been there many times visiting their military. They need help in all of their services, not just with a couple of hundred troops. They need to be upgunned. Stuart, we have a $19 billion backlog of equipment that's supposed to go to Taiwan that they have already paid for. And the Congress has got to fix that situation. I mean, it's pretty outrageous that we're in that kind of a situation.
That's just plain wrong. General Jack Keane, always wonderful stuff from you, and we always appreciate it. Thank you, General. We will see you again soon.